Welcome back, StarCraft fans, to another day of SCSL Season 3. This time we're up to Group G. We have one more group remaining after this one. As you can see, the star of today is going to be Mini, but then we've got KOP, ggaemo, and YSC. Let's take a look at today at the group stages so far. As I mentioned, we have one more group after today, which is going to be an interesting one. Group H, Royal, Backhoe, Ample, and Noob. I of course think Royal's the favorite, but then a toss-up between probably Ample and Noob. I have no idea of Backhoe's level. I noticed that he has started streaming again, but other than that, I don't really think he's played in many tournaments or Pro League matches, if he's even gotten into Pro League. Let's look at today's matchups though. We're gonna have Mini facing off versus KOP, and we've got ggaemo facing off versus YSC. Before today started, I actually thought to myself, have we seen ggaemo in SCSL? And the answer is no. So this is his first appearance, and I felt like KOP had done pretty well, but actually last season he got knocked out pretty quickly. It was season 1 where he did well, and then of course YSC, he kind of had an unlucky game versus Light in ASL, so maybe he can get some redemption here. Let's get into game 1. It's going to be Mini versus KOP. Okay, so in the top right, we do have Mini, and I'm pretty sure that this is Blitz X, which is why we have KOP in the bottom right. So Blitz, have we seen many Blitz games this season of SCSL? Feel like we haven't. And already I can see Mini is on the move, so already it's going to be shenanigans. The question is what type of shenanigans is it? This is so quick, it has to be forward gate. I think this is going to be on the high ground outside of the third base, but he could put it into the natural, and if you don't scout correctly, you can actually miss it. There we go. Okay, so it's going to be a 9 gate. Very aggressive play. I like this position more than the natural, because at the natural, it's close enough to the main where SCVs could get pulled and kill the gateway, but with this distance, not only is this obviously way farther, probably the Zealot gets out in time, and in fact, I think Protoss could even pull probes, and yes, they would have to travel a farther distance, but I think that they could get here in time to keep the SCVs from killing the gateway. There is the 10 racks from KOP, and just some probe harassment. I wonder if he will go for a gas or if he'll put down a second. Okay, so he's got pylon blocked and he didn't have his gas stolen. This can only mean that it's either proxy gate or this guy went like, pylon nexus. So pylon nexus probably not likely. I feel like KOP should already know that he needs to put down a second racks, but I don't see him building it just yet. And with the pylon done, we could have a battery in here. Pylon's already messing up the mining time. Battery would make it even worse. And another pylon? Okay, I guess you could do that also. There's the second racks. I feel like this is already too slow though. But I like his setup. I think another depot at the top side would completely, well, not completely, but pretty much wall in the Marines between the racks. And there's that first Zealot on the move. This is a big commitment from Protoss, obviously building so many pylons, but he's made Terran essentially just be mining on like 5 workers, which is crazy. Marine really wants to get rid of that probe, but not able to get rid of it just yet. Good micro right there, ends up saving that SCV, and that one too. Now this Zealot is taking some damage, but I think that the battery's going to complete pretty soon. Marine, you're on the wrong side of that SCV, and he's going to get taken down. But the pylons are almost all gone. There is only 2 Zealots. Oh, he never built a depot at the top. Instead, he built a depot down at the bottom. That pylon is still alive, though. Okay, that's a good drill. But he needs to get rid of the pylon, man. I mean, look at the worker count. It is so low. I feel like Protoss has already done it, actually. He's basically, like, not mining. He's only mining, like, half of his mineral patches. And the pylon is still alive. my gosh, and that Marine dies, and this has got to be GG, right? There's 3 Zealots. He needs like 6 Marines to stop this, and the battery's still alive, which is crazy. Well, that's a quick victory for Mini, and he's already speed ran through KOP in our opening match. So quick win for Mini. Didn't really get to see what he even has planned for mid game because the game ended so quickly. I don't even think we ever looked at his main. Was he even mining gas? Seemed like he just rallied that gateway and ended up winning. Well, let's get into game 2 now. Hopefully this one's a little bit closer. It's going to be ggaemo facing off versus YSC. Okay, in the bottom left, we do have YSC. And in the top left, we do have ggaemo. This is going to be the first time I've seen ggaemo play in quite a while. We saw YSC play in ASL. Got really unlucky, obviously. And then I think he lost to Shine, if I remember correctly. Something like that. Shine, you know, scouted his Nexus first initially. And it was pretty much all downhill from there. So hopefully he can get off to a good build order here versus ggaemo. Because I haven't seen ggaemo in so long, I can't remember. Is he somebody that goes like full first often? Is he like a hatchery first type of guy? I really can't remember. Now Radion here instead of Blitz. So at least it's a 4-player map. This should lead to a big time macro game. We've got the probe already coming down. So this is most likely a gate. Could also be a forge if he's going to go and try and do a cannon rush. But not going to be the case. There is the gate. And what direction will he go? I've noticed that a lot of times the workers go horizontally. And that's exactly where he's going to go. So he's most likely going to find Zerg last. And Zerg, I think this was an overpool. Yeah, this looks like an overpool timing to me. So pretty much a safe opener. Question is how many lings is it going to be? As you guys know, I'm not a big fan of 2 lings. Really want to see the 4 lings, man. I really want to hear why Zerg player. If you're a Zerg player, you got to tell me why Zerg players consistently only build 2 lings. And then they let the probe get back into the base, get full scout off. Really got to let me know. There's the hatchery. Hope is going to intercept that Overlord so he'll know that he's top left. And Drone Scout from ggaemo will see that this was a gate opener, so he'll know that Zealots are coming. At least pretty soon they'll be coming. Those eggs should be completing pretty soon. It looks like it was just 2 for now, man. I don't get it. I really don't. Now there's 2 more, and we'll push this probe back. But Zealot is already here, and we all know how strong a Zealot probe combination is. That ling is already extremely low. So this, I think, is a Zealot probe favored battle. He needs to really push this, try and get damage done. We've got ggaemo taking his 3rd base at top middle. Now I'm looking in his main. There's still no gas. Now, generally, we see this around like 305, right? And there it is, the 305 gas. So everything so far looks pretty normal for an overpool opener. But these 4 Zerglings, they're going to counterattack. And it does draw, I think, the Zealot back. I think the probe is still outside of the natural, waiting to see how many lings have been built. And we, of course, have the Zealot plus the probe on the ramp to prevent anything from running in. So overall, YSC has a good opener. Now, didn't YSC take his... Okay, I saw he took his main gas. I was like, wait a minute, is this a 1 base? I don't see a cybernetics. But now I'm realizing that it's a Nexus at the natural, as expected. Now, critically, I don't think I remember seeing a forge anywhere. So, but I do see he's done something to clog up the entrance. So that's either a... Okay, there's the forge right there. I'm guessing a cybernetics must have gone down at the front. Yep, there it is. Halfway done. Okay, so Forge in the main, gonna make sure his +1 weapon doesn't get picked off, make sure that those upgrades continue to pump out without fear of being sniped. And YSC already has a decent chunk of zealots. You know, once he gets his Forge up and completes a single cannon, we may see him try and make a move out. Now, these Lings that were on hold position at the ramp for a while, they've done a good job to keep the probe outside of the base. We see that ggaemo's actually going for a Hydra play. And there was no lair. So I am anticipating that this is going to be a big commitment to the Hydras, or it's going to be a 973 with a transition out of it. So the StarCastTV coming down for YSC. Everything so far just looks as expected. There's speed. Okay, so we'll see how he wants to use this. He saw the cybernetics at the front. He doesn't necessarily need to have range to pick that off, and of course that's not a key building. So I wonder how many Hydras he'll actually build here, knowing that he's not, you know, getting anything special out of sniping the cybernetics. Maybe he'll just build like 7 Hydras, you know, act like he's building a decent amount, but then actually power out of it. Either way, YSC is going to need to get his Corsair out pretty soon and across the map to figure out what this is. Because if it actually is a big commitment to the Hydras, he only has 2 cannons right now, and I think only one of them is done. There's the Corsair, and he will spot the Hydras which have speed, but he still doesn't know how big of a commitment this is. There are a lot of Lings, you know, left over. So I feel like YSC really needs to respect this, but he doesn't see any more reinforcements. So he hasn't overbuilt cannons at all. So far, this is a really great follow-up for YSC. Loses the cybernetics. Again, not a huge deal. Gonna lose the gateway also. Not a big deal either. Uh-oh, ggaemo. Gonna bleed off just 1 Hydra for now. That's fine. Okay, 5 cannons for YSC now. I think he saw a couple Hydras at the natural and maybe thinking, okay, maybe this is not the only Hydras that he's building. Maybe he will actually try and bust me. So I think it's smart to build the 2 additional cannons there. He's getting a couple more gateways up. Got his Citadel coming. So speed, what is it, like 80-second upgrade? It means we're looking at something like a 8-minute Zealot move out probably. That seems pretty good to me. I feel like he's going to have like 10 Zealots by then. Should be able to overrun the Lings plus the Hydras, especially with his +1 weapon kicking in. Now, meanwhile, ggaemo just doing Zerg things. 4th and 5th hatchery coming down. Evolution Chamber coming down also, so he's going to try and match the +1 armor of Protoss. I don't think he could really ever match the upgrades overall, but could probably match the armor upgrade. And I think that is the 6th hatch at the 3rd base for ggaemo also. So everything still just looks very normal. I, of course, always keep my eye on the probe count. Who was it last week that had 1 million probes? The name is eluding me, but you know, this time around, 50, I mean, it's still kind of on the high end, but at least it's not 60 to 65 like it was last week. So Gateway Flood should be coming pretty soon, I hope. But I can tell you this, Protoss needs to get out on the map at some point, because now Zerg, who was a lowish drone count, he's going to be on 6 hatches in just a second. He's already got 40 drones. I mean, this is kind of crazy that there's been absolutely no move from Protoss at all. His gateways aren't even done yet. He's what, at like 6 gate? And a couple of them aren't even done? I find that very surprising that those aren't done yet. I feel like ggaemo's gonna have huge econ, 3 bases, you know, good defense with him taking that high ground base. You can put Sunkens behind the hatcheries and be fine. Obviously Sunkens behind the hatchery at the natural also and be fine. Now we did see, or the Corsair did see, that the Spire is going down, and he does see that there is triple gas. So that is worrisome for Protoss. He needs to make sure that he keeps his Corsair count up, because otherwise, Mutas may just, you know, wreak havoc on everything. Now we finally have the Zealots moving out. All the Lings got cleared out. Now it's just going to be Ling versus, or Hydra versus Zealot. I think the Zealots can win this. The micro is really good from the Hydras. Okay, now finally a few Hydralisks are falling, and the Zealots are going to win. But I'm still most concerned about where all that gas is going for ggaemo, because he was at 700. Now he's gone down just a little bit. He's got a lot of resources overall, like almost 1,000 minerals. He could build like 10 mutas right here, for sure. There we go, some more gas being spent. I'm gonna guess that those are mutas and not lurkers. Now that is a lot of gateways. Finally building that gateway count up. I think he's at 9 now. The question is the power spike too late? Did he let Zerg get away with murder for too long? I mean, look at Zerg. Zerg's even taking top right. Zerg's almost even in supply. We do have the goons out already for Protoss. Also, I saw 4 Templars at the natural. Okay, it's actually lurkers. So, I don't know if this was a mind game from ggaemo, try and show the Spire, show the 3 gas, bait out a lot of Corsairs, and then actually go lurkers. But to me, this looks like the perfect setup, because I don't remember seeing, well, as I say that, I was going to say I don't remember seeing a Robo, but I think the Observer just showed itself at the natural. Zealots are going to get cleaned up by these Hydras pretty much. Super weak, so, I mean, the next time they come around, they're going to get immediately killed off. And here we go, Lurker. I mean, it's technically a contain, right? But is it really? I mean, it's only 4 Lurkers. He doesn't even have reinforcements with the army, so I'm not sure exactly what that was intended to do. But look at ggaemo's econ, man. This is why I was so scared. Almost 60 workers right now. 4th base is basically done. Yes, 8 gate is a lot of production, but 4 base, 6 hatch, with a 7th hatch at top right, and you don't even have a 3rd base up? I don't know, man. Well, these Hydras got cleaned up real easy. That was a bit of a gift, but look at that transfer. Massive influx of minerals going to be coming in just a second. ggaemo's army looks pretty pitiful, though. Like, every time we take a look at his units, you know, it's like 7-8 Hydras, maybe a random lurker. You know, 7-8 Hydras at top right defending Zealots. Few Hydras outside of the 3rd base defending up there, too. It doesn't look like there's a huge army right now. But with supplies being so close, of course, YSC doesn't know that, but if he did, with supplies being so close, where does he really attack? I actually don't think he can attack. As we saw, top middle's got a lot of lurkers. Sunken. Natural's fortified also with a lot of lurkers. I think YSC's best move here is maybe act like you're going to attack. At least force this guy to make some units. And then maybe double expand and take top, bottom, middle. All counterattack here. I think this is just going to get immediately cleaned up. I can't imagine this really doing much damage at all. And here we go. Full surround. Yeah, these Hydras, why are you here, man? Okay, at least he's going to salvage this a little bit by getting a couple of probes. But not the biggest of losses for either side. And we see the 1-1 power spike is kicked in for Protoss. He should have like +2 armor or +2 weapon, what? In the next minute and a half or something like that? Zerg should have +1 weapon himself. Okay, well, ggaemo's going for another counter. I don't understand this. The army just looked small to me. However, there is a lot of stuff in the back, but YSC is like, who cares that? I got all these Dragoons, man. As he just runs on top of these lurkers, kills basically all of them immediately. That small attack to bottom left, I think, has pretty much been denied. How does ggaemo stop this? I think he got caught powering way too hard. Actually, I see bottom left lost a lot of probes, by the way. So he's down to 39, but the army supply is just huge. It's a 50 supply lead. Then factor in there's a 13 worker difference. So he's up basically 65 army supply. He doesn't even have 65 army supply. Zerg, I mean. I think this game's done. How does he stop this army? Can somebody tell me? Look how many goons there are. There's 1 million goons. All he has to do is make sure he doesn't lose his observer and then die to like some crazy lurker setup, which it's not going to happen. ggaemo's been broken, and YSC, who just powered, hit his power spike, went for 1 attack, He's going to close the game out with this one attack. There it is. Alright, well done from YSC. He'll be moving into the winner's match to face Mini. So congrats to him. I thought ggaemo's setup was pretty good. Like, the econ was crazy. Really don't think he did much damage with the Hydras, though. Maybe he bled off too many doing those small counterattacks. But either way, even though he ended up losing, I do have high hope for him in the next matches, because I'm sure we're going to get a rematch versus one of these Protosses. So let's get into our winner's match now. It will be Retro Mini versus YSC. Okay, in the top left, we do have Mini. And in the bottom left, we do have YSC. Alright, so 4-player map. There's no way Mini will pylon scout and, you know, then do proxy gates or something, right? That's just not a thing, right? We're not going to have any crazy shenanigans going on, hopefully, this game. Hopefully, with it being a 4-player map, maybe we can get a 12 Nexus. See the power of that 12 Nexus versus some other race other than Terran. And, you know, in ASL, we saw, what was it, Snow doing a lot of, like, proxy, robo-gate stuff, Protoss versus Terran. Of course, PvP not the same here, but I wonder if stuff like that could be viable in PvP. Maybe not necessarily proxy robo, but what about proxy 2-gate or something like that, either for DTs or just an overwhelming amount of goons. Will anybody queue up additional workers? The answer is no, as we get the gateway coming down for YSC and gateway coming down for Mini. Now, subtle difference here is the gateway placement. I can see for Mini, it's, you know, way towards that ramp. He's also scouting quite quickly. And meanwhile, YSC with the gateway a little bit farther away from the ramp. This makes me think that Mini most likely going to try and pressure with Zealot. And now I'm pretty confident in that assessment because we see the gas coming in. And look at this, a 2-gate. You don't see that often. So it will be some pressure play. I was right on the money with the Zealot pressure. Was not expecting it to be 2-gate Zealot pressure though. You know, actually I think the last time we saw a 2-gate, or at least I saw a 2-gate on Retro was, what was it, Misters versus Dragon in BSL? And Misters was just doing work with his 2-gate play. We'll see how it actually works out at the pro level though. I'm thinking that despite the gateways being so close to the ramp, I still think that the travel distance is just going to be quite large. With it being Retro, you know, you got to go horizontal, then down, then all the way back to the left, up a ramp, down a ramp, and then back down to bottom left. I'm feeling like maybe this is not going to have the fastest timing here. We do have the cybernetics done. There was no defensive Zealot built by YSC, so there is an opportunity for me to get damage done. In fact, I think this is going to be 5 Zealots. Yep, there's the 3 sent out. There's still no gas for him. So 5 Zealots? Is he even intending to take gas? I mean, this looks like a ladder build where you build a lot of Zealots, follow up with a Nexus, and go Forge. But I could be wrong. Oh, he tried to wall him in. Almost gets the 3rd pylon up, but he can just hold position with the Zealot now if he wants. Now this is a big commitment for Mini to be building these many pylons in the main while also having no gas. He lets it complete. Alright, so I guess, did he lose his probe? He lost the probe, right? Like, I don't see it anymore. So it's not like he can build a battery here anymore. Not sure why he actually let this complete. There's now 2 goons out. Obviously, 3 Zealots are still going to be hard to deal with. But I think YSC is going to be up to the task. The drilling has been... Well, I was going to say the drilling was really good, but ends up really not doing very much. But again, this Manor Pylon doing a lot of eco damage to the mineral line. So that's going to move in here. That was really good body block with the probe. Still has taken basically no... Okay, there's... Oh, additional gates. There's the shield battery. All right, he sent an additional probe. I wondered why he had let that complete. So this game's going to get weird real quick. We're going to go from having low HP zealots to pretty full HP zealots pretty soon, unless these goons can take care of them pretty quickly. 2 of them taken down. Wait, he has a battery? Where's that battery? Did I miss it? Is it by the Nexus? Oh, it's by the Nexus. Okay. There's the batteries for Mini. Alright, well this game's going to end one way or the other. Either he's going to kill 1,000,000 probes here, or YSC is going to have a great hold. So far, I gotta say, YSC is having the great hold. He's going to get rid of the pylon. He's got a zealot out here now. And Mini's still committing to this. He's saying, well, I gotta win with this. I already spent so much money on this. There's no way I can transition. I'm not mining gas. I don't have a Nexus. I just gotta keep going for it. I think he's right. There goes one of the batteries. Really good micro. I think YSC held this. Like, there's no way that this can work for Mini anymore, right? Bullets are pretty tanky though, and they still have a lot of health. Still not really able to find their way into the mineral line. I think the only reason Mini like isn't GGing out of this game is because the Manor Pylon has done so much damage. Like it just now died. So there's been so much lost time, mining time. Like it's crazy. Oh, he didn't rally one of his gates. Did he really not rally one of his gates? Dude, if he had additional 2 zealots here, well, maybe not in this particular fight, but if he had had those 2 zealots earlier, he may have been able to win this game. But now, obviously, this attack can no longer work. And I think all YSC has to do now is just make sure he doesn't lose too many zealots, consolidate his army, follow up with a goon counter, and he could potentially take this game. Well, he ends up bleeding off a couple of zealots. Those zealots are still in the main of Mini, by the way. And now he sees it. Now, this is where you wish you had the Mini cam, because you know he's doing the typical Mini reaction where he's sulking back in his chair, wondering why this game wasn't over earlier. And the reason is because those zealots, they didn't want to work, man. They had other plans for the day. They were out on vacation. So there's the final cleanup. There's what, 4 goons left over? 4 zealots? There's 0 tech at all for Mini. I mean, he's gonna have cannons, but didn't someone tell me that goons just annihilate cannons? I don't even know if the cannons are gonna really do anything. I can tell you this, these zealots are doing a really good job to buy time. He needs to have as much time as possible to get these cannons up. We can see that the first 2 are going up at top left. And I think a probe confirms that. So he knows that, okay, this guy is actually just expanding. He also gets into the main and sees that Mini also has no gas. But look what Mini's doing. Countering with 3 zealots. How much damage can he get done? The answer is not much, it seems. Well, while he's microing his workers, he ends up bleeding off a couple of dragoons. Actually, this game is weird. Are we actually going to get a mid-game? I mean, the worker count is even. It's not like YSC has a robo or anything. He can't, punish with a Reaver in the main versus a guy that's not even mining gas. I actually think all he can do is expand now. I don't think he can bust unless he goes 4-gate, but his 3rd and 4th gate are, not even close. They haven't even started. This game is actually just going to play out. I wonder if YSC could like double expand from this position, because obviously he has a ground army that can't be killed. He saw that Mini has no gas. Okay, instead he's just going to jump on these cannons. There goes one of them. And this is what I was saying. Cannons are pretty garbage versus dragoons. Those goons did take a little bit of damage, but I actually think he's just going to pounce on this one. Yeah, he's just going to pounce on that. He can 2-shot it. Look at this. He still hasn't lost a goon yet. Imagine if he had a battery behind these goons. He could just heal up, back to full, And there would be no counterplay. Now, actually, Mini's under threat of losing that cannon, and this might just end it. He loses 1 goon. 2 Zealots and Probes are not going to beat 6 goons, I'm sorry. He needs a DT right now. That's the only way he can save his natural. I don't think he has a Robo. Right? The cannon's actually complete, but I'm surprised he didn't range the pylon. Okay, that goon. He can hit the pylon, man. Like, he doesn't have to necessarily jump on the cannons if he doesn't want to. 2 goons out, though. Maybe Mini actually will hold. Robo is done for YSC. Observatory coming out. I think that he's probably thinking along the lines that I'm thinking, that there's no way that this guy can hold his natural, and he must be going DT. He doesn't have a pylon anymore. I mean, he could just go win the game now. These are all unpowered. He jumps on it right after the pylon completes. He still takes it out with minimal losses, only loses 1 goon. Now he's in range of that pylon too. That could die too. Yep, Mini taking advantage of that. The cannon getting off a lot of damage, and he pounces on and gets 3 goons for just, what was it, 2? I mean, he had to do that. He had to. There was no other way. I mean, he's pretty much broke. He can't really afford to build any more cannons. There's the Ardo pylon. It's going to get taken down, and with the Ardo pylon falling, there's no additional one. Now's the time to go, YSC. Yes, a lot of your goons are damaged. Oh, there it is. GG. Nice. I gotta say, I was not expecting that from the result to the opening build order. Everything was very unusual. And Mini, he's going to actually go down 0-1 in the series. So YSC, 1 game from making it out in first. That is crazy. So let's get into game 2. We're going back onto Blitz X. Sorry, not Blitz X, Blitz Y. Alright, this time in the top right, we do have YSC. And he's on the move! And in the bottom right, he's also on the move. We've got Mini, so we're going to have double Proxy. I wonder if somebody will go out towards the center, and we'll have probes avoid each other. Nope, it's just, okay, this is weird. Now, sometimes in Terran versus Terran, when you have both players like Proxy like this, they end up just saying, screw it. I'll just build a Rax in my main or just go a depot. But I actually think they're both good and commit. I have a feeling they both will commit. Where's that pylon want to go? Okay, YSC wants it in the main. He wants the Manor pylon. I think that's smart. Okay, and Mini, he's building it at the natural. Well, YSC, you got to get the pylon down, man. And Mini's done a great job to defend it, and instead, he actually has given up on it now that it's been defended. But his pylon is slightly later, whereas Mini's is basically done. So he'll... Uh-oh. This game is gonna get ugly. YSC thought that Mini was not gonna, I guess, commit to this, but now he builds an additional pylon in the main, so that's money that's not on a gateway. Now look at him, he's having to cut probes because of this. His gateway is slightly later. I could see the Zealot just walking in and doing a lot of damage. Also, the probe's still in the main, so he can do a Manor pylon here and really screw up YSC's mining. He's looking for the Manor pylon. Zealot is being built right now. How much of a delay is this gate? It looks like it's about a 10-second delay. I mean, Zealots walk pretty slow, so maybe the Zealot can get out in time before it starts killing probes, but with the Manor pylon coming in and the probe being here still, I can imagine we're going to have a lot of shield batteries just like last game. I am very worried that YSC is not going to be able to hold this. Forget the top, do it. There it is. And it is about to get ugly. Second gate comes down for YSC. I think he needs that, but he needs to get rid of that manor pylon, man. He needs to get rid of that battery. Second zealot out. And he has already taken a lot of damage. And he ends up saving the zealots, so they're going to get healed up to full. This is really rough. He needs a battery himself, but look, he's like not mining. None of his probes are basically mining. He has, what, 10 workers here? One across the map? Meanwhile, Mini, he's got 14 workers, not having any disrupted mining. He's fine. Oh my gosh. This is so brutal. That's a nice heal. Gets rid of the pylon so the battery's no longer impactful, but I think there's just too much of a lack of resources. I think Mini just runs him over. I don't even know if there's additional zealots being dealt. Every time I look at YSC's money, it's sub 100. Oh, I forgot about that. He can just kill the pylon and then he can't build anything. You just kill the pylon, man. That zealot dies. Oh, YSC, you gotta do something. If you lose your pylon, this game's 100% over. There's no coming back from it. You won't be able to build anything. That zealot dies. He still hasn't pulled probes. Well, now he realizes, like, I'm gonna lose my pylon, which means I'm gonna lose this game. But too late. Probe versus zealot, how does that go? Not very well for the probes. Oh wow, look how close that one was to finishing. But GG comes out. And another quick blitz game for Mini. If I was Mini here, I would try and get blitz as many times as I can, because it seems like he's just on the ball here with his pressure play. Nobody can stop it so far. And now we're going to go into our next game, which is another PvP. We're going to be on Radeon once again. Right, so in the top right we do have Mini, and in the top left we do have YSC. Now Mini so far, in every game, quite aggressive. Even though the 2-gate failed, that was still an aggro play. I wonder if he'll try it again, maybe thinking like, okay, I've been aggro all day long. Maybe this guy won't think that I'm going for it again, but I actually am. And maybe he can have a successful attack. Also remember, he didn't rally that gate. So there were times where he was missing a zealot or 2 zealots. And maybe that could have been a difference maker. Once again, the pylon is quite far forward in comparison to YSC. So once again, I'm going to... this leads me to believe that YSC is going to play passive here. And Mini potentially putting that gate all the way at the ramp. Try and get some more zealot pressure. There he goes. Is he going to put it right next to the gate? Okay, he did put it right next to the pylon. Alright, I thought he might put it, you know, a little bit farther towards the left, like he did on Retro, and then put the second gate where he's now put the first gate. But so far, no additional probe movement in the main for a second gate. Oh, that's because he's going to gas this time. Alright, so we are going to have just a standard opener. And both players are going to scout each other first. That's nice. This time around, YSC is going to know exactly what's going on. Now look at that. He even scouts top middle because he was like, wow, that probe scout was quite quick. Did you actually proxy top middle? I think that was a smart move, especially versus someone like Mini, who definitely has the capability to do something like that. Another manor pylon. Another manor pylon. Okay, so he's just telling YSC that you're not allowed to mine today. And because of that, you can see YSC has already pulled off of gas only has 1 on there because he needs as much money as possible to, you know, prevent this damage. Already had to cut a probe. This is gross. I mean, look at his money. He has so little money. Luckily for YSC, he's going to get rid of both pylons pretty quickly. But I feel like the damage has already been done. Yes, there's going to be a supply block for Mini, but I don't think that's the biggest of deals, assuming he fixes that in a second. I guess he did. Okay, there we go. The pylon is completing. I thought he had just started. I was going to say that I guess he did miss his timing slightly, but is he going to pylon again? Of course he is. It's Mini. That's what he does. Now, Mini, I noticed that he's gotten... Oh my gosh, look at that stutter step micro. See ya, probe. And another one, guys. And another one. Is he going to get 4? You ever seen that Star Trek meme where he's got his hand on his face? Just face palming after all this damage? That's me right now, man. Because this is ridiculous damage. He's killed 4 probes, gets a full scout off. YSC, he loses another probe with the big jab. And Mini, I mean, he has so much gas. He could go Robo, he could go DT Tech. Meanwhile, YSC has no idea what the heck Mini is doing. For all he knows, Mini could have like a Nexus. The probe, I guess, got killed and we missed it, but this is a massive advantage. Instead, he's just going to go 2-gate, probably 2-gate ob. I think YSC, the only way he can get back into this game is to go for like a Hail Mary, whether it be like DT, even though he wasn't mining gas, or go like 3-gate. And versus 3-gate or DT, I think you can go 2-gate ob or 3-gate ob, and that would be fine. I don't think there's any world where YSC could potentially put down a Nexus because he just had his eco disrupted for so long by the Manor Pylons. So I love this follow-up from Mini. Robo opener, super safe. I would like to see the 3rd gate, but I don't think he has to build it. And he's got the perfect amount of workers sitting at 23 already, whereas YSC is still trying to build up that worker count. Is that going to be another gate, or is it going to be a Robo? Like I said, I feel like you can only go for an Hail Mary here. 3-gate, 4-gate, DT. If it's a Robo follow-up, I just don't see how you match the production, and I don't see how you match the tech ever. Robo done for Mini. He is going to go Observer. I think that's very smart. And YSC is going to be pushed all the way back to his natural. Now, he's going to come in here and see there's no Nexus. Oh, did he overstep? He's down 2 goons. YSC would easily win this fight if he committed. But goons, you know, with their delay in attacking, not going to be able to punish Mini. And we do have support bay coming in, so Reaver should be popping out within the next minute or so. And I imagine once the Reaver pops out, probably Mini's going to feel confident to put down his Nexus. So we may be going into a mid game. I don't know if he'll actually be able to kill YSC with like a Reaver timing, but maybe, because now YSC is going to put down a Nexus, and Mini didn't. And Mini's got his Observer already out. He could send it towards the natural, but you see what Mini's doing right now? With the Observer going towards the middle, he's trying to intercept if there was like DTs, right? He doesn't want to mistakenly miss them. So I like that move. Cost him almost nothing. He'll see the Nexus now. And I actually think YSC is in massive trouble, assuming that Mini wants to go for the throat here and do like a Goon Reaver timing. 3rd gate? Put that down. Oh, I guess not. Yeah, YSC knows now that it can only be Reaver, so he needs to be very careful. He needs to really ramp up his production. Yep, there we go. Support bay coming in. And there's no shuttle out, so the Reaver can't go right now. I could see it being possible where YSC may be able to micro his Reaver in time, or get a Reaver out in time to micro versus the incoming shuttle Reaver timing. I think we're really just waiting for the shuttle to come out, and then it's going to be go time. There it is. Nexus? Maybe? There we go. Okay, Nexus and shuttle on the move. Now, YSC, I think he's doing all he can really do, which is, you know, he's across the map. He's hidden himself a little bit. What he needs to do is come back, kind of show himself, act like he's going to attack, or catch reinforcements, but actually he didn't really do. He was a little bit slow on the gun, and now Protoss is already here, so Protoss is not going to turn around now, obviously, and I don't know if he'll be able to survive this attack. I think with probes being pulled at top right, probe plus goons should probably hold. Oh, that was a nice connection onto the Reaver. He does have a battery though, so he can heal. Oh, that was a clutch heal, in fact. He gets another heal off, but it's just way too much stuff. Reaver ends up surviving. You know, I would say that this is a base trade, but I have a feeling all Mini needs to do is just actually send all of his workers to top left and retake YSC's base as his own. And I don't think there's any world where YSC would win. But maybe I'm wrong. There we go, there go the probes. So it is going to be a base trade scenario, but guess us what? We're not going to base trade anymore, as basically every single probe gets eliminated. What remains for YSC? Just 5 in total? I think there's only 1 right there. So, and he canceled something, so he got money to rebuild, but he can't rebuild with just this amount of workers. That's not going to happen. So this game may, you know, continue to go on for a few minutes, but Mini's army can't be beaten. Yeah, there it is. GG comes out, and that means he is going to make it out in first place. It was just way too much damage in the beginning. YSC had a good comeback. I think what he did was all he could really do. He had to do something risky to catch up, but ends up being taken down. We are now going into the losers match, so let's just get straight into game 1. It is going to be on Radeon. Alrighty, in the bottom right, we do have KOP. And meanwhile, in the bottom left, we've got ggaemo here. Alright, so Terran versus Zerg Radeon. You know, I'm a big fan of Terran on this particular map. I think they're really good. But, you know, styles like Crazy Zerg can be hard to deal with. And I do remember ggaemo, a lot of times when I watch him play, he goes for Crazy Zergs. So if with spawns like this, I think if he can somehow miraculously get top middle base, right? Or, you know, take the natural at top left and then get the 4th base in the main, could be a tough style for KOP to deal with. Now, luckily for ggaemo, he's getting lucky here. He's going to find KOP in the first position. And I guess the real question is, what's the opener going to be for KOP? Because I've seen, you know, varying build orders on this map. Okay, it's going to be a low ground depot, but kind of late, actually. A 1 minute. Whoa, that's way late. 1 minute and 2 second depot. Normally you can get a depot up at like 54 seconds, so he's basically almost lost an entire SCV by having that go down so late. Because of how late it was, I actually thought he might wall off his main, because I have seen 10-10-10 or, you know, 11 gas be used on this map a decent amount of the time, but looks like we're just going to have a normal build order here. Wait, what? Is it CC first? Right, so it's going to be CC first, which is extremely risky, but he's going to get rewarded. But because ggaemo is going to see it immediately, you know, he already is going to have a drone out on the map. He may just go for a third hatch before pool. At least that's what I would do. I mean, he's going to see it in a second. Oh, he just built the pool, so I guess that's not going to happen. Maybe the Overlord's slightly out of range. I can see that he sees the depot, but I don't know if he actually saw the SCP building the command center. Either way, this drone is still going to be annoying. And instead of going for an immediate gas, ggaemo has pulled a drone off the line. And I'm guessing he's going to go to either top left or top middle. I think top middle is a smart play. I don't think it's going to get scouted, but of course top left is fine also. That drone has already done considerable damage. Rax is, pretty much just now starting. I was looking in the main to see if he might go gas. Ooh, he might actually get that SCV. We've seen players like Flash. Oh, he might actually kill the drone. Almost got it. Oh, that might die. No, 7 health. But I was going to say, we've seen players like Flash, when they get away with command center first, they do go gas, and there it is, gas in the main. It's already almost done, actually. So this might actually be a mech opener. Now, what I don't like about people doing drone scouts like this is now he doesn't know that there's no gas, because he's probably just going to leave in a second. Well, maybe he won't. Wow, he still might get this SCV. This is a second SCV, by the way. There's a damaged one in the main. Here comes the factory. All right, so I will say that that drone did a ton of damage, because this factory is, I think, about 10 to 15 seconds slower than Flash games where I've seen them go straight mech. I think ggaemo can already kind of figure out what this is, because he saw that the Rax didn't immediately blink. He still has the Overlord overlooking the natural, and he sees that the barracks was still not blinking, at least temporarily. So despite not getting into the main, he should still have an idea that, hey, this could be mech at least. And we do see that KOP is going to find ggaemo at bottom left, and I think he'll be able to get in. Only 2 lings, only 1 on the ramp. Drone almost caught him, but in the end doesn't get caught. Now I do want to point out that this factory is basically done, and there's no second factory. So is this Wraith? What is this? Is it straight starport? He's setting up like it's going to be 2-port Wraith. What is this? Armory? Double armory. Okay. I was sitting there wondering, I'm like, you would never build an army and academy together. So double armory. All right. Now, this could be for like 2-2 upgrades, but I imagine that this is just to have the fastest 1-1 timing possible. Now, I will say this about build orders like this, where you rush the double upgrade and you're clearly going for a timing. I mean, your upgrades are fantastic, but look at his factory count. I mean, it's still only 1. So the question is always, is having the additional upgrade worth, not having a couple more, units, Goliath in particular? Now this attack is doing a surprising amount of damage. I wasn't talking about it initially because I imagined that the Sunken would complete, but it took a while to complete. He gets a couple of drones, and we'll just back off. And critically for him, he saves all of his Marines, which is very important, because now, even though they're not very fearsome on their own, they can at least get back into that bunker. But now KOP has given away his strategy, I think. Still no Marines being built. And we saw a Sunken being placed at top left to prevent Vulture run-by. Fire's about 75% done. I didn't see an eBay. Okay, I think that's the eBay right there. So he's going to need to have some turrets set up in just a second. And his Goliath count is going to be probably around like 4 when the Mutalisks get out across the map. But he should be okay, I think, with even just 1 or 2 turrets. Now, at this point, I'm just waiting to see what the SCV count is going to be. Are we going to start cutting, like right now, sit around 40, and just mass units? Or is he actually going to go into some type of, follow-up where he has a lot of econ, tries to take a 3rd base, stuff of that nature? For now, it looks like we are cutting at around 38. This is obviously to build turrets. But I could see him just completely start cutting right now and go into 5-packed. The 1-1 timing, as we know, is going to be extremely quick. Extremely quick. And I'm curious how many Goliaths he's actually going to have. Right now, the Mulists are going to try and find an angle, but there really isn't any angle. I mean, what they need to do is they need to get in here and scout the double armory, and that's it. I don't really think they can get any SCV kills. It would be suicide. Wow, he ends up going into a starport. I don't remember seeing players rush 2-2 like this. But I guess he's probably thinking along the same lines as I was. It's like, you know, having fast upgrades, they're fantastic. But if you only have, you know, like 7 Goliaths, it doesn't really matter how many upgrades you have. You just don't have any actual damage. Like the Meadow Micro gets another SCV and another one. He has the magic number to one-shot him. There goes another one. So he gets like 4 SCVs pretty much for free. KOP is on the move, but I just don't see how Zerg is scared of 9 Goliaths. I'm not seeing it. Erik goes down. He may kill this Goliath, actually. Yep, it goes down pretty much instantly. More SCVs are falling. Man, KOP, I really did like his build order, but all of a sudden, he's taking a ton of damage. He's still up in workers, but he can't attack anywhere. I think even the Mutas may be able to win just a straight-up battle, so that's not great for him. And Circus had top left up and running for a long time. Even though it's not fully saturated, it's still given him a big influx of resources, specifically the gas. He even has a macro hatch in the main, which I didn't even see. Now, ggaemo, the way this is unfolding is it's making me think that this is mass mutas. Why else would he take his third gas so fast? Evolution chamber. It's interesting. I wonder what that is for. There's no Hydroden. You would imagine it must be for armor if he's not going to have a Hydroden. But I don't even think armor is very good versus mech. You need damage, but you know, what are you getting damage on? Now these vultures are doing crazy damage. He got what, 6 kills? And at the same time the mutas go in and really don't do much at all. So like 6 kills, mutas do no damage. KOP's worker count is really high also, sitting at around 48. And he's got his vessel coming out. This may just be an insane 2-2 timing with like a single irradiate. I mean, he only has 3 factories, so he's not starved for gas. He can consistently build out of his 3 factories. The muta count, I mean, it's decent, but I still just don't see how this is enough to attack anywhere. Another macro hatch, so there's the Hydroden, so the evolution chamber must have been for +1 weapon, which I think is exactly what you need. If you don't have weapon damage versus +2 armor, you know, Goliaths start with 1 armor and tanks do also. You're just going to be doing no damage. See that the couple of mines that have been laid out onto the map, you know, there's not so many that Zerg really needs to worry about running into them, but it does, you know, get some vision out there. And if Zerg, you know, mistakenly leaves a group of mutas over top of it, Terran's going to see it, and, you know, he'll know whether he's getting all in muted or not. Vultures, are they going to try and harass top left? Okay, it looks like the mutas came back and will intercept them. And I think 4th and 5th fact should be coming down in just a second. Right now, I mean, both players are really just powering really hard. You can see that ggaemo recovered his loss of drones back up to 44 now. Terran's on pretty much a perfect worker count at 55 on 3 bases. I remember watching a light video where he was talking about if you go mech, you need to go into something like 70 workers. I think you need to do that when you're able to like actually split. Like, for example, if we had a base at top right, I agree with that, where you need to mine out bases ASAP. But when you're just going to be sitting on your quadrant here and not really be moving and don't have to worry about defending 8 different locations, clearly a lower work count can be great. Now, mutas come in, but okay, well, I guess they're going to win this fight, but where's the irradiate? I know there's a vessel out. We saw it being built. Does he not have as many Goliaths as I thought? Why is the Goliath count so low? There's only 3 remaining? I guess there was a massive upgrade spike for Zerg. Now, basically, all the Goliaths have been reset. No radiate. We saw it blinking. Yeah, there we go. Oh my gosh, and there were so many damaged mutas there. It did so much damage. Killed like 5 mutas. No, don't want to lose that vessel. I think it had a good amount of energy. Oh, never mind. I mean, it had a decent amount, but not as much as I thought. You can see that the 1-1 upgrade is still for Terran. I think +2 should be done in just a second. We do see the Hydra switch now. And ggaemo with the 45 drones does have enough econ to support the 5 or 6 hatcheries that he has. Now, I saw Terran does have some tanks, and I don't think that the mutas killed any of them. So something like even just 3 or 4 tanks could be enough. But I think ggaemo might be on the move. But if he goes right now, like, I think when Terran has just now hit 2-2, I think this is going to be a disaster. Terran should be so strong here. I love the depot wall, making sure that Zerg does not get a good angle. So you're going to get bottled up here. You're going to take a lot of damage. And mines being set up also. So supplies are really, really close, 130 to 122. I think both players need to be content with just not attacking right now. Maybe Terran could make some moves with his vultures to try and harass the drone line, but I really don't think that Zerg can do anything except maybe this move right here, which is kill some SCVs. He knows that he got rid of the 1 single vessel. It's 3 SDVs into the main now, and the Goliaths are way out of position. I mean, this is a huge travel distance from the 3rd base all the way back to the main. Really good repair, like fantastic. Is it still alive? How is that turret still alive? Oh my gosh, 2 turrets are gonna fend off, what, 11 mutalisks? I thought there was no way in hell that the turrets were gonna survive. And at the same time, there's a small push out by Terran, kills some Hydralisks. Interception of the Mutalisks also, okay, so that was definitely not worth. Took a ton of damage, but I still don't think Terran is confident to move out. Maybe now that 2-2 has kicked in, he can move out. But you can see his supply, a lot of it's in vultures, and vultures are really not great. Well, immediate 3-3, man. I mean, is he really just going to camp until 3-3? That's so risky. Zerg could easily be going into queens. We haven't seen any yet, but for sure by, the 17-minute mark, they could have them. There they are. Well, you know what queens don't care about? They don't care how many upgrades you have, because they're just going to one-shot those tanks, and the energy is going to line up perfectly for 3-3. It's going to take them about 2 minutes to get the energy on the queens. The 3-3, what is it, 3 minutes and 20 seconds, something like that? So there's going to be opportunity for the queens to get in here, broodling all the tanks before they move out, and potentially Zerg could hit a really nice timing. I like how ggaemo's hiding them also in just a random part of the map. He's also taken a, what is it, a 5th base technically? He's got the 4th base off the top left. I still think the drone count is kind of iffy. Just at 50, it feels like he needs at least 8 more or so if he's going to have this many bases. But overall, it's decent. I'm looking at KOP's gas count. I mean, it's really low. Oh, and I was just about to say this. I wonder if he can afford EMP. And as I say that, there is the EMP coming in onto the vessel. Well, I'm assuming it's EMP. I guess it could be for energy. But I think at this point in the game, if you're playing for 3-3, the likelihood of them having queens is really high. I feel like this has to be for EMP. Well, so far it's just been a really passive game. Both players just sitting, waiting for their key upgrades to kick in, waiting for their econ to kick in. Zerg just clearing out all the mines. There's the +3 weapon. It's done, man. All right. So Terran could attack right now, but he would be moving out into a really strong army. Zerg's at +2 armor, Mutalisks. Queen's already out. They do have the energy for the Broodling now. I guess the question to me is, where does Terran expand? A lot of times Terran's, take another main, but with it being so passive like this, I think he needs to take bottom middle. I guess bottom middle in this map versus Zerg is a little bit better than, playing Terran versus Protoss on here, because at least you don't have to worry about shuttle bombs. But I don't know. Queens obviously has a lot of them. He has 10. I actually think he has enough queens to pop every tank here. There's only one vessel, which makes me worried for Zerg. Or for Terran, I mean. He really needs to land a perfect EMP. Irradiate, obviously not going to be enough. But we saw players, I think, like JYJ in ASL, just focus down Queens with Goliath. I mean, that's really hard to do. There is a slight delay in the animation when the Queens cast Broodling, but I've never been able to focus them down in time with just Goliath. What I do know, though, is that these Hydras that only have +2 weapon and no armor, they're going to melt. Now, these Goliaths are way far forward. I like how ggaemo just waited until he got shot by one tank and pulls back. Here, a lot of scans going off, and there we go. Queen's on the move. Can he get any juicy Broodlings off? Zerg has lost vision. He knows that there must be Queens out here, because there's no way that this is the whole ground army. That's just impossible. Ooh, the Queens run over the Vulture almost. Now he knows where they are. EMP. There's one. Okay, he gets one. I mean, he connected on just one Queen. That was not great. Now, Zerg may think that he blew all of his energy right there, but he actually has 2 more EMPs available. I think what ggaemo needs to do is just make it weird. Like, counter, make him not pay attention to these units in the center of the map. And here we go. Queens coming through the center. There's 6 of them. He should be able to get all 6 off. 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, looks like he got 5 out of the 6 off or so. That was good damage. And the counterattack's great. He's going to kill some tanks here also. ggaemo can afford to make ineffective Hydra trades here because KOP is going to be mined out in his main and natural pretty soon. Meanwhile, ggaemo has a ton of resources. So this is fine. Just make it weird, man. He also knows that this guy doesn't have very many vessels. If there's a hive with Defiler, how does he kill anything under Darkstorm? Like, yes, he has tanks, but they're not going to do full damage. More Queen. Okay, he does have hive. I didn't see a Defiler mound, though. Oh, wow, he's got so many Queens. And they have energy also. I think that ggaemo's got this game, man. I don't see how KOP maintains his steam here. This was a really good delay. What did it delay the push by like 2 minutes? There's still 10 Queens out. The Hydras are pretty useless right now. Like, they're not very strong at all. Well, useless is not the right word, but oh my gosh, what's not useless are these Broodlings. I think Goliaths are going to hold the line here with their massive upgrades. But I think that ggaemo's pretty much held the main attack that he needed to. He's still got Queens left over. He got rid of every single tank, which is crazy. Now there's only 6 remaining. And there's no Goliaths anymore. He could mute a switch at this point, and there'd be no answer. He might be bleeding off these tanks also. Whoa, I didn't even realize he took that base. I was like, why are the Hydras going down here? Well, this base, that looks like it's gonna be saved. Well, maybe. You gotta factor in that there's Queens here. Like, they could just infest the command center. Send it, man. Send that Queen over there. Get it. Oh, now he's coming. Where are all the other Queens? Did they all go to, like, top left? I thought for sure that they went back to bottom left. It looks like that one's on infest duty. There we go. There we go. Is he getting in? No. Either way, really good damage there. And now supplies are really, really close with Terran being pretty low worker count. Just 43. I think ggaemo should consider just chilling out right now. He had massive wins. Killed a lot of tanks. Doesn't really need to make these small engagements. He can wait until his econ really kicks in. Wait for his energy to kick in. Then go for Broodlings and try and finish the game off. A little bit of a floppy loss right there, but not sure it really matters. I see another macro hatch at top left and the natural up there. He's also taking another base, so he's got 6 bases soon. Massive bank, 2K, 1K, 55 drones. Lots of Queens. In fact, he found the ones at top right. He remembered that they were up there. And there's still not very many vessels. One more cycle of broodlings on these tanks may just be game ending. I don't think that, KOP can really support building tanks non-stop. Spider mine. Oh, there's nothing here. Here's 2 tanks, 3. Okay, well, there's some tanks up there. They're just gonna get broodling to death. Wow, this was masterclass by ggaemo here. And I think that KOP pretty much got away with the best opener he could get, which is a 14 CC. He did lose a lot of mining time with the harassment from the drone, but I mean, he took no damage in the early game. He defended the mutas fine. He got his upgrades up really fast. He had vessels. He had EMP. What more do you need? So now let's get into game 2. We'll see what map that's going to be on. All right, we've got Retro once again, as we've got KOP spawning in the top left. And then in the top right, we do have ggaemo. Well, KOP did get another really good spawn for walling off. So if he felt like he lost the game because the drone got in and did a lot of damage, well, he can wall off this map, go for the depot racks, then go command center, and then go for a slightly later command center, but at least not take any damage to the drone. I do notice that he is sending out his SCV considerably faster than last time. This is hopefully going to be a depot, but I thought it was too fast for that. It's going to be an 8 racks. Alright, that's an interesting place to put it. I mean, it's not very much far forward than the place where you just wall off completely, so I'm not really sure what that gets you. Seems kind of pointless to put it in that particular spot, but he's the pro, not me. In ggaemo, he is going to go for that typical 12 hatch. No overpull, no 9 pull, no 12 pull. Wait a minute, what is this? Okay, for a second I thought that he had done the wall wrong, but it's correct. He's going to put the depot up there as cruiser is showing. There is the hatch. And it was actually a 12 hatch, not an 11 hatch or something like that. In ggaemo, despite seeing the wall, but that's not true. He sees the 8 racks. He's not going to build any additional drones before the pool. Just now going to get it down, and with it, being spotted from a mile away, imagine this should be shut down pretty easily. Now look at in KOP's main. He's got gas coming. So it's going to be a 1-1-1 follow-up most likely, unless he continues to mine gas and goes into Wraith, which we have seen. Drone is already almost dead. Marine is already almost here. Also, he's not really respecting the pushing power here. It's just 2 SCV, or just, 5 drones? Okay, now he's put a lot. Now he's actually put quite a considerable amount of drones. He's respecting that this could do a lot of damage. And you also got to keep in mind that the Overlord can overlook the natural. So if the Marine is ever in a position where it can be drilled onto, it's probably going to die. There goes one drone. Can he get another one? Goes that one. And a third, maybe? Wow, this is a lot of damage already. ggaemo's not really microing his drones very well. He loses another drone. It's another one, so that's 4 drones for 1 SCV and 1 Marine. I think at this point you've done enough damage. You should just back off. And by the way, KOP, I think, is continuing to mine gas. It looks like he's mining with 2 on gas. Now I think he just pulled one off. So he still has an excess amount of gas, but it's not a crazy amount. Now he just repositions that racks for the wall. And actually that is a ling tight wall. Marines pop out on the left side, so there's no way that units get in. or units, Lings can ever do damage. And look at this, the Overlord doesn't actually have vision of the command center, so he doesn't know if this is a command center or not. Like, this could be a command center, but he's just barely out of range. Oh man, he didn't build a depot or a sunken colony. Now the vulture's on the way. He didn't even spot it. He wasn't even looking. Oh my gosh, Kmo's gonna be kicking himself for this. He's gonna be like, what the hell? Where did this come from? He's still not building a sunken. He's not building Lings either. One vulture may end this game. Already ridiculous damage. 6 Lings down the drain. Okay, that was a clutch catch. If he doesn't catch that vulture, oh my gosh, he would have taken so many drone losses. But he ends up catching it, and Terran is... Well, I thought Terran was cutting like crazy because they're only on 17 workers. And I was not expecting to see a command center if he's going to be cutting that much, but... I guess maybe it's just Zerg who was able to build workers so quick that I'm kind of thrown off. Either way, Wraith is out. Gonna kill this Overlord, and we do have a Hydra Den at the natural with Lair on the way. This could be lurkers. Now we saw in previous matches where players ended up going Wraith, it was 2-port Wraith, but the 2-port Wraith ended up doing work versus the Hydralisk. I think that it's smart that ggaemo ends up building a Spire also. He's gonna find another Overlord though. That's 2 kills. Another supply blocked. He's gonna get a 3rd one. And also KOP is scouting everything. He sees that the natural has a decent amount of workers, but no gas. Another Overlord falls. So 3 Overlords, 6 Lings. What was it, like 1 drone or something like that? Overall, KOP has done tons of damage in the early stages. ggaemo really needs to get something together here where he can stage like some type of comeback so that he can get this game sort of even. Command Center's finished at this point, so Terran's gonna have a huge influx of resources. We've got Cloak on the way and a drop. Drop and Cloak? Well, I mean, if you're gonna build vultures anyways, you might as well use them. He's already cleared out the Overlords. He knows that they're not on the edges anymore, so he can get in here unscouted most likely. I really don't know what to think about ggaemo's build. Like, his eco just feels so low. He's had to build so many Overlords. He's only on 2 hatches. He's gone into an evolution chamber now, which I don't really think is going to be that impactful. Okay, for a second I thought he was going to run into the natural, but those are spider mines. I actually didn't think he had the upgrade. Well, I love the mine usage to push the Hydra back so he can focus down the drones easier. And he gets a couple of them, but not, you know, like anything to write home about. But critically, the Meadows are going to catch these vultures and also catch the dropship, so that's nice. Meanwhile, he's going to get another drone. Maybe one more. Wow, okay, so great damage. 31 workers to just 20. The Cloak is going to help out immensely versus the Mulus. He doesn't have very many Wraiths, but should be enough with the Cloak to push them back. Academy coming in, so it's not going to be some type of weird mech play. We're going to have a Marine Medic switch. And Marine Medic tank Wraith is actually surprisingly strong. Wraith can soak up so many hits. Obviously, the tanks are going to be shelling out a lot of damage. And all you got to do is keep the Hydras from getting on top of the tanks. You're going to be in a fine position. And look at this, he already got speed on his Overlord. I was thinking like maybe he doesn't anticipate this ball, but he did. So a good read from ggaemo. Limits the damage, doesn't lose any Mulus there when he definitely could have. And we do have vessels on the way also. So Marine Medic tank Wraith vessel. Looks like that's most likely going to be the play. I didn't notice an eBay anywhere. I'm not sure what the upgrades are going to be. And if you're ggaemo, what do you do at this point? Like, I realize he's building a third hatch in his main, but I actually don't think a third hatch in his main gets him much here. I think he needs to get bigger econ. And I wish he had built it at mid-right. I think that's a smart move to lift the racks. It's just a liability at this point, having to defend that particular area when you can just float into your main. And he rushes a hive. I guess I missed the queen's nest. So hive on the way. I think he needs that ASAP for the defiler. I don't think this is ever ultraless. And more vultures out on the map. All right, so he really is liking having the mines, but the mutas are saying, no, sir, no mines for you. I wonder what Zerg is thinking, because yes, Zerg knows that it's Wraith and there's vessels, but this could still be mech. And now that he's seeing vultures, more vultures being built, I wonder if he thinks that there's actually more factories in the main. I don't think he ever confirmed the barracks count. There was the first tank on the way. So really what you're... It actually is Ultraless Cavern. I guess he suspects it's 1-1-1 and the upgrades are late. He did have his rushed evolution chamber, so if he can get +2, it could do some serious damage. But I'm surprised at this. I thought for sure it was going to be Defilers. But what I was going to say about Terran's build order is, once you get something like 3 to 5 tanks, you don't really need that many irradiates. You can start dishing out tons of damage. You obviously have a lot of pushing power with the Marine Medics, and then also the Race, even though they're not great, they can soak up tons of damage. They got 120 health. Well, they can soak up a lot of damage, but not those three not those three Race. They just get taken down pretty much immediately. And we got Terran finding the bottom right base. He's going to be feeling very happy that, hey, this guy doesn't even have a mining third base at this point. So I think KOP is feeling like he's probably in the driver's seat. Just needs to not botch his attack. And this game is pretty much his to take. He does need to attack before the Ultralist pop out, though. Or at least before chitinous plating or +2 armor kicks in. Look how many drones are still sitting idle there. I feel like we saw a group of idle drones there earlier. I'm not sure if that's the same group or if it's another group that just got produced. Either way, Nidus is done. So once that completes, if he can find those drones, he'll be able to saturate bottom right pretty much instantly. We are on the move. I don't know about this comp though, man. I mean, the comp is fine, but the amount of units is really skimpy. It's really one tank. I guess he can't engage onto the tank. So it makes sense to still just go with one. There we go. He's going to stem for it. I don't know if he can really hold this. I think there's just too much stuff. He didn't build a lot of meatless. He's rushing straight ultras, but the ultras don't have great upgrades right now. I imagine Terran has +1 weapon. I feel like this is just going to be game ending. I mean, it's one Ultra. Probably with just +1 armor. I don't even know if he has tightness. Well, that Ultra pops out and he's obligated to fight now. Yeah, they don't have enough damage. They don't have enough upgrades. They're taking it forever, but it doesn't matter. We're going to see GG in a second. And that was a slick timing from KOP right there. I love the drop. I love the race switch. I think ggaemo responded pretty nicely with the speed on the Overlord, but he lost too many drones in the beginning. He really needed a faster macro hatch is what he needed, and he's just never able to recover his econ. So we've got a tied score, boys. 1-1. Let's go into game 3 now and see if either KOP or ggaemo will be making it into the deciders match. Right, and in the top right on Blitz, we do have KOP, whereas in the bottom right, we do have ggaemo. For some reason, I just feel like KOP may 8 racks again, and because of that, I hope we see something like an overpool 9 pool, something along those lines. We've seen KOP send an SCV to the low ground in each game, even though Blitz doesn't have the greatest wall-in position. I actually still think that he might try something like that. It's been a while since I've played Blitz. Oh, there goes the SCV, and this is, once again, a very early SCV. So this is definitely going to be an 8 racks. Wait, what? Okay, so he did what I think Sharp does, which is he cuts the SCV to get the depot down at the right time at, 54 seconds. And then he builds the additional SCV afterwards instead of having it queued up. So, interesting. We do have ggaemo with an insanely fast scout. I guess maybe he's thinking that this guy might try and get away with 12, 14cc again. And he wants to, do a lot of damage. But it is just going to be a wall off. But still, the drone's already here. I would kind of be thinking, I wonder what KOP is actually thinking about this. Because a lot of times when you do get scouted quickly like this, it can be a 4 pool. But he's not sending the SCV across the map to check for that. That drone. I thought he was going to get taken down, but he ends up not dying. Get back to full. I mean, does that seem balanced to anybody else? Where you can just get full health from canceling an extractor? So once again, he was super annoying. He did a lot of damage with this drone. He pulls off 3 SCVs for that. But you can see the effects of the build, or the initial scout in Zerg's build also. This is a 2:15 gas compared to 2 minutes. So I mean, that's a lot. That's a huge difference right there. Like 15 seconds. I mean, that's almost the duration of a turret. So it's not like Zerg didn't lose anything for that, because he definitely did. And Terran, this time around, I see no gas. So it's not going to be mech, at least not just yet. I expect Command Center to come down in just a second. And there it is. And whoa, the Marine is already here? Already here. Okay, he could bunker. He knows that the guy scouted really slow. Or scouted really fast, and that means that his pool should be really slow. Bunker could potentially complete. I actually am surprised that he doesn't try it. I think he could have completed it. And what's the worst that happens? Like, you force Zerg to pull more drones? He gets 1 drone. He wants that drone, man, but I don't think he's gonna get it. That is an eBay. All right, for a second I thought it might have been an academy, but okay, he's gonna go eBay. It's gonna be rushing his +1 weapon. I was thinking, since he kept the SCV out, that maybe he might try and go lurkers. Lurkers are not exactly the best, but on a map like this, where you have a lot of dead space on the right side, where Terran has to, float a building over there, or has to, build a depot all the way at the bottom side of his base, also has to keep vision of potentially a lurker drop coming through the 3rd base, not necessarily taking the route from completely on the right side, but coming at an angle. Lurker drops on here can be surprisingly strong. Also, by getting drop, you give yourself the opportunity to take the mid-right base. So, I mean, there's a lot of benefits to going drop here. But not going to be the case this time around. It is still going to be Spire. And we do have Academy done, Stem on the way, weapon damage on the way, of course. And we're just really waiting to see what the follow-up is going to be for KOP. Is it going to be a 3 racks? Is it going to be a 4 racks? Is he going to go Royal style, which is 2 racks, like 530 factory? I think that this is going to be a 3 racks. I mean, there's no real reason to rush +1 weapon this fast if you're not going to at least get 3 racks. It could also be a 4 racks, though. And it looks like that's going to be what it is. It's going to be a 4 racks. Okay, there we go. So, a lot of pushing power here. And I like how ggaemo built his 3rd hatch in his main, so he's not going to be vulnerable to any types of early move outs. And Spire is basically done, so Muta's going to be out. Remember on Radeon, he got a lot of kills onto the SCV line, and I'm looking at KOP's working out right now, sitting at just 30. I'm worried that these Mutas might put him down, into below, like, the magic number, which I think is like 36 to have really good econ. I think if I'm KOP here, he needs to build a few more SCVs. And there he goes, up to 33. He has a scan. I don't think he can stem across the map for it. Yeah, I think that's smart. He backs off. Mutas pop out in the nick of time. And I think also with this scan, he may have also gotten vision of the third hatch placement. So that's fantastic. He now knows that he's not under any pressure to actually go kill a base. But either way, Muta's on the move. How much damage can they get done? There's only one turret, and there's no turrets at the backside of the base. I can't even tell you how many games I've lost on this map in particular because they just run over that first turret and there was nothing behind it. So he does need to plug that hole up. And I think that's Hydrogen in the main for Zerg. I guess it could be an evolution chamber. We've been seeing him consistently go evolution chamber so far in this series, so that would also make sense. Ling Mutas with upgrades. Sounds like a good way to punish a 4 Rax. It is actually an evolution chamber. I'm surprised. I really did think it was going to be a Hydrogen. And he ends up going armor as expected. So it's going to be probably crazy Zerg, but it could also just be mass Mutaling. And this is what I was talking about. Okay, he gets rid of one of the Mutalisks. This is an exposed mineral line. He kills 2 SCVs on one volley, but he's lost a couple of Mutalisks here. So he does need to be careful. But overall, that was good damage. Look at that, 29 workers to 29. That's fantastic. Bryan really needs to figure out what this is, because if he does not rush his factory and gets behind in upgrades, it's going to get ugly. More harassment coming in. Oh, he's now actually moving out. I guess he thinks that there must be a third base out there, but we of course know that there isn't. That must be the Queen's Nest right there. There's no reason to rush your evolution chamber, not make Lings, and then not go for Ultras. Well, I think with the 4 Sunkens or the 3 Sunkens or whatever he has, plus the Mutas, this should definitely be more than enough. Yeah, it's 3 Sunkens. There's no way that this can be broken. If he sends in here, it's just going to be a complete end of his army. Oh no, don't do it, man. Don't do it. Not like this. Why? There's no chance of this working. I mean, he has a lot of Marines coming in through the back. I guess I totally missed that. Look at them! Look at the mutants. They just kill so much stuff. Am I wrong? Is the game over here? I didn't see the Marines coming, and now all of a sudden they've done crippling amounts of damage. Wow, that was insane damage. If I was ggaemo there, I'd be thinking like, dude, what the hell are you doing? You saw I have multiple Sunken. But the thing is ggaemo never completed that 3rd Sunken. Like, it took forever to complete and didn't actually have great DPS. So that was a massive mistake from ggaemo there. I don't know why the 3rd Sunken was so late, but that definitely should not have happened, for sure. And now, KOP can rush into his +2. He's done crippling damage to the econ. Zerg now has to make a decision, like, okay, am I rushing the Ultralisk Cavern, or am I rushing my upgrade? Right? He doesn't have enough gas now to support both. Oh, I guess he can't even build a Ultralisk Cavern. He doesn't have his hive yet. Well, ggaemo needs to get some damage done into an SCV line. I feel like that's his only way back into this game. Either kills a lot of SCVs with the Mutalisk, or if KOP gets greedy and goes like dropships trying to end the game, he needs to intercept those and, wipe that off the face of the earth ASAP. Gonna get a couple of turret kills here, but loses a Muta in the process. We'll trade for some Marines, still loses another Muta. Alright, and a couple of SCVs, that's nice. And a medic. Alright, that's good damage. I love how the Marines are funneling up and ggaemo's taking advantage of it. Damn. Really good damage here. That's what he needed. I mean, he still needs more than that, I think, but at least the supplies now are pretty close, 65 to 55. More Marines. Oh, if he can get that vessel, that would be insane. Green falls. Oh, well, another Mutalisk falls. That was really good. That was really good. That's got to be the Ultralisk Cavern, right? Yep, Ultralisk Cavern on the way. +2 armor. Looks like it's probably similar in time to the +2 weapon of Terran. So I think if there's going to be like a window of opportunity for Terran to like make a bust before +4, I don't think it's going to be, you know, that big of a window. Like Terran would really have to be on the ball, like right at the guy's base when his upgrade kicked in. No tanks this time around. It is just pure SK Terran. Only one starport though, so I'm kind of worried in that sense because he's got 1,000 gas. He could definitely afford to build a second starport, even like a third starport. Like, we're getting close into the game where Terran should consider taking a third base. I think even going like triple starport wouldn't be the worst move. ggaemo finally taking a third base down at bottom left. But I don't know if he'll be able to get that up in time because Terran's army is pretty huge. Well, there's a drop. I don't like this drop, man. I mean, you can see that there's overlords well positioned on the right side. They're going to see him coming from a mile away. The main is huge, so there's a lot of travel distance all the way back down to the mineral line. I feel like this should have just been a vessel. But I mean, it will draw units out of position. Maybe that's the plan, is draw units out of position so he can strike somewhere else. Overlord sees it though, but the mutas are way, way, way far away. Ling's also far away. Scourge! This is why I didn't like it. Is it gets picked off immediately. And now, I mean, Terran still has a fearsome army, right? But Zerg can deal with it because he's got upgrades also. What is that, 7 racks? Is he building an 8? The way that SCV was positioned was it looked like he's going to build 8 racks, but I think that would be a mistake. Just going to command center, man. Oh, he canceled the hatchery at bottom left. That's fantastic. I was wondering why Terran turned around. He gets the cancel off, and you can see, like, okay, you don't have a hatchery there. I mean, you must have another base somewhere, right? There's no way we're playing a 13-minute game and you're just on 2 bases. He didn't scan top left, but unbeknownst to him, there's still no base up there. Zerg is in massive trouble. This is a huge advantage for Terran right now. Even though supplies kind of say otherwise, like they're decent, and you know Zerg's econ is still okay. Zerg really needs to get a third base ASAP. Now that is a lot of ultras. They do have +4. You know, there's not that many vessels. What was it, like 2 or 3? I still like Terran's army better. I think as long as he can mix in like 1 or 2 firebats to soak up hits and obviously deal a lot of damage to the Lings, he should win any battle being thrown at him. Still no command center. Science facility lifted off, so I guess that this is going to be for battle cruisers? We do have ggaemo finally going to get up bottom left. Well, I think he is. It just got scanned, so it may not actually get up. These ultralists, I like how they're hiding off to the left side. The vessels, I don't think are going to find them. So that means, oh, well, I take that back. He does find them, and now he's got free irradiates available. There's one. Oh, he didn't find the other ones. Oh, he did. He knows they're over there. So free irradiates, that's going to force an engagement. Just needs to spin. I don't think that the Marines will lose this. Wait, what? ggaemo's countering? He's not going to try and just fight? Isn't he just going to bleed off these ultras for free now? Look at the supply. It's a 50 supply lead. I mean, this is massive. He should have just tried to fight there. He had good upgrades. He had irradiate, so you know can run in there and do a lot of damage to the Marines. But instead, he just counters, and there's a bunker here. Now the ultralists, they're out of irradiates now. They're just gonna get focused down, I imagine. Well, maybe not. Wings are doing a really good. How is this happening? How do the bunker Marines not hold this? SCV's starting to die left and right. Aaron's actually got to retreat now. He's gonna lose all of his SCVs in his natural. He's lifted off. What am I watching? How did this happen? Now he has 6 vessels. Like, now he's got a good vessel count, but he's taking a lot of losses now. Zerg is surprisingly not out of this game. I guess it depends how many ultras he actually has at his natural. If he's got another, like, 5 or 6 ultras, he can attempt to take another third base and, you know, deal with any potential attack. But if he doesn't have any ultras, well, then, obviously, he's in trouble. I think KOP is confused. Like, you see him scan top left, he's like, dude, do you really not have another base? How's that possible? I am still surprised that KOP hasn't built a third starport, or like built BCs, or, you know, queued up multiple vessels. Like, yes, he has a decent amount at 6, but he's got 2,000 gas. He doesn't need to build dropships. Just spam out vessels, man. Get like 100 defensive matrices, and then your army just actually can't be defeated. I wonder if Zerg has a Defiler mount, because I feel like the way to get back into this game is you've got to have a Defiler, you know, Plague or Darkstorm or something, and just have a massive trade in your favor. I don't think the Ultras are going to be enough to swing it in your favor. We do have Zerg taking the third base. This time it's on the high ground, close by. And when I've played myself versus Defilers on this map, it's really hard to go across the bridges. But since there's no Defilers, I don't think that KOP is really going to have an issue here. I think if he can just consolidate his army and just send, he should probably be able to stop it. He still only has Marines. I would like to see even, like I said, 1 or 2 Firebats, but none so far. And that factory, I would actually like to see him just like right-click an Ultralist and just have it follow it. I mean, you might as well, right? Radiate, there we go, radiate, radiate. They're just passing by each other. The counters, I mean, this is probably going to do some damage, but I don't like it. I don't even know if KOP needs to come around for this. I think he could just send across the map. He sees another dropship, so he knows that that's going to be on the way. This irradiated Ultralist could do a lot of SCV damage, but it doesn't get any kills just yet. Into the main now. KOP is still on only 28 workers, by the way. Funny enough, he doesn't need any more workers because his main is mined out, but I did just want to point that out because as the game progresses, obviously, he's going to need to have more than 28. Oh, get in there, man. Get on those SCVs and kill him. Looks like this base is going to get up and running. Well, I think it is. Is that Marine Immortal? Finally dies. ggaemo's just gas starved. Like, that's the main issue with his build, is he's gas starved. He can't afford to build, you know, 20 Ultralists. He can only build like 5 or 6. Which is still a lot, but not something that Terran's ever scared about. And once again, Terran on the move. This again should be another cancel base. There's also a drop going into the main. He could shut down the third base, and it looks like that's exactly what he's doing. Once again, ggaemo's just gonna counter. I don't know, man. Like, I feel like you gotta save one of your bases. Like, Terran's eco is fine on one base. He's got the vessels. He's got a lot of Marine medic. You can't kill these Marines behind the barracks. Like, that's just not gonna happen. But he is killing a lot of SCVs here. Is he gonna get the hatchery? No, this Ultra is gonna save the day. The KOP is all of a sudden kind of all in now. Like, look at his money. He has 11 minerals. 3,000 gas. Isn't that it? He doesn't have a backup command center either. Like, if he wants to expand, he's got to float his main to the third base. He has 17 workers. This Ultra may even kill all of these Marines. Dude, what? Is he just gonna counter the natural? I mean, this is so weird, man. Like, Terran has taken so many losses. Zerg has also, but I don't know if Zerg will actually die to this attack. That's a lot of ultras. 5 ultras. Marines dying left and right. The vessels aren't here to help. Yeah, finally there's a stem. I was like sitting here waiting, like, dude, you got a stem. We'll push these ultralists back. Something died. I'm guessing that was probably like a depot at the entrance, but 15 workers, is that it? I don't think the ultras can win. Well, maybe not. Looks like the defense matrix is doing a lot of work here. Another vessel falls though, which is nice. Ooh, almost gets 2 more. Supplies are crazy, 45 to 58. I was not expecting to see that at the 21-minute mark. I mean, look at that natural. I mean, it's basically mined out. I'm nervous for both sides at this point. I can. Oh, actually, look at Zerg's natural. You can see it on the on the mini map. I mean, he's mined out, man. Both players are he just mined it out right now. How did Zerg mine out his natural before Terran mined it out? Dude. And Zerg only has 80 minerals, so he can only long distance mine now. Look at this. He's got ultralists, but there's vessels here. He could just sit in his natural, just irradiate forever, and let the irradiates kill the ultralists. Meanwhile, Zerg is going to struggle to get 300 minerals. It looks like he's going to once again catch some units. These ultralists have full health, by the way, so they are pretty freaking strong. More SCVs falling. Down to 11. Make that 10. Almost single digit. Those ultralists are doing work. We don't actually see it on screen, but they get a few more Marine kills. I wonder what both players are thinking. I wonder if Zerg is even considering building a hatchery or instead just focusing on units. Like, he saw that the army is not that big for Terran. He knows Terran is basically almost mined out. Maybe that's the play there, is you just, even if it's just one ultralisk at a time, just build the one single ultra. Terran is still confused. He's scanning top left. Now he finally lifts off his command center, but where's he going to go? If he goes to the close by third base, that's towards Zerg, and Zerg has been willing to attack from this angle multiple times. If he goes to the island, I guess that could work, but he doesn't have enough money to build a dropship. How many ultralists are there? Are there really only 2? Okay, there's a dropship. And he's not going to see anything there. You are going to have a massive attack right here. Yeah, no more mining for you, Zerg. This is all you get. He does have 200 minerals. He could build an ultralist. One ultralist is engaging. Is he bleeding off? No, he backed up. Here, Sunken's killing a few Marines, but didn't really sound like that many died. Another irradiate goes off, and that's pretty much what I was saying, is the irradiates can win the game now. I mean, he still needs to be careful to not lose all of his SCVs in case this backfires, but the vessel should be more than enough to deal with this no econ Zerg. And I think that's going to mean that KOP is actually going to eliminate ggaemo here. You know, ggaemo is not someone that I expect to, win the entire thing, but I definitely expect him to make it out of the round of 24, and there it is, GG. Wow, so KOP, really nicely done. Read the situation perfectly, didn't panic, played to his win condition, and he's going to be moving on into the deciders match, where he's going to be facing off versus YSC. So our first map is going to be Retro. Let's get into game 1. See if KOP can actually make it out, or if YSC can move along with Mini. So, in the top left once again, we do have KOP. And in the top right, the one and only YSC, aka Toolbo. You guys know that I do think spawns are... If Terran had gotten top right, I would have thought spawns were really good for Terran, but he didn't get it, so I think spawns are kind of just okay-ish. Don't really have great pushing power with this position, but Protoss also doesn't have like the ability to just sit on the third base and to deny your third base for that long, so we'll see what YSC wants to do. Remember, he had a really aggro build in ASL, and maybe he'll try and do the same thing here. That is a pretty far forward pylon, so I'm going to assume that this is most likely going to be a Zealot pressure. And we do have Depot coming down right in the main, as expected. Now KOP, because he's already shown the 14cc, obviously I don't think he's going to do that in a Terran versus Protoss, but I could see him try and go for a gasless here. It's a safe build, only really dies pretty hard to like proxy gates. And Terran players have gotten really good with their micro that I think that they can hold it anyways. But Rack's on the high ground and it's kind of a bit far away from the ramp, so I don't think this is going to be gasless. I think this is going to be 12 gas. And we do have gas coming down for YSC also. There's the 12 gas, so everything looks pretty normal to me. Interesting scout pattern going through the center of the map. And he will see that, hey, Terran first off didn't BBS. And 2, Terran is not at the bottom left position. So maybe straight Zealot could be a great opener. Yeah. But instead, he ends up queuing up that Cybernetics. And Terran is going to luckily get the first scout here. And there's the Zealot. I saw him just build it right now. So Cybernetics before Zealot. And he's going to start putting on a lot of pressure. Okay, that's an interesting depot placement. I don't think I've ever seen somebody wall like this. I'll have to take note of that. What's also nice about this wall is because he has that depot, or because he has the barracks positioned the way it is, he's able to build the depot at the top side, and it looked like he's able to build a depot at the bottom side also, which means he could like completely wall in the Marine and wouldn't have to micro, you know, between the two depots. And also fear like a Zealot coming through the right side, if that made sense. So I'll have to consider that the next time I get onto a map like this. But either way, the first Zealot is basically here. The probe actually came back, which I find surprising, and Terran saw it. So now he knows that, hey, this guy didn't proxy gate, or, you know, didn't proxy anywhere. Doesn't have to worry about, you know, the probe Zealot combo attack. It's just a single Zealot. And well, I guess a second Zealot is coming, but in the main currently just a single Zealot, and I don't expect this to do much damage. Okay, he gets one Marine, but I would say that wasn't really worth. Protoss is still down a probe. Protoss is not going to be able to get in here and do damage with the Dragoon because the Marine's just going to hold the ramp. I feel like we're just going to expand pretty normally. Now, I'm curious what's at bottom left, because that's been chased for a long time. It's an SCV. I don't know what to think about that. Why is there a probe chasing it across the map? Like, the SCV beats the probe. He could just fight it. Well, YSC... Okay, there's the Nexus. I was like, man, he's got enough money for it, but he hasn't put it down just yet. 3 Marines, 1 Vulture. Uh-oh, we're getting into a micro battle. Dragoons will win this battle. And I don't think that he's been building any more additional Marines. Uh-oh. It looks like he goofed. What looked like a great opener is all of a sudden a disaster as he loses everything, lost the Vulture, lost the Marines. I can't even remember if that was, if the add-on was, yeah, the add-on's not even spinning, so he didn't even have mine upgrade coming. Now it starts spinning, but these Marines are going to die also. An in-base command center and Protoss spots it. This is terrible. He may even kill... No, he's not going to... is he going to stay? Oh, he actually does stay. Well, he was slow on the gun to get SCV to repair, so this is probably dead. Pop, not like this. He had a great hold versus the Zealot. Now, This is Doomsday scenario, and it's a Vulture with no upgrade. This is going to do nothing. These two goons are going to win the game. There's no mine upgrade. Oh my gosh, he just immediately GG's. Wow. Was it really just he didn't build the bunker that did him in? Was not a typical pro mistake. I can't believe that happened. But now, well, he can't make any more mistakes like that because this is potentially his last life. As we get into game 2, we're going to be going on to Radeon. Okay, so in the top right this time, we've got KOP. And in the bottom left, we do have YSC. Now, we've seen a lot of 12 Nexuses on Radeon in particular. I'm trying to think, how many times have we seen Gasless? I feel like unless it's Barracks, I don't remember seeing Gasless that often. But either way, it's cross-spawn. So if it's a Nexus first, this is the dream scenario for Protoss. I'm still kind of confused about where it went wrong last game. Like, yes, the bunker was late, but why was it late? Like, at no point in that game did it seem like he was trying to rush the command center. Like, he could have just built the bunker immediately. Like, he didn't have to save up until he had 300 minerals before building it. It also seemed like he was trying to go for, like, an FD. Like, after we saw his first 3 Marines that were dead, we saw in his main he had, like, 2 more Marines sitting there. So was he, like, trying to disguise, like, hey, I'm expanding, but actually he's doing an FD? I don't know. It was pretty weird. I think also what came back to bite him was the SCV being pushed out of the main for so long didn't actually allow him, or the SCV being pushed out of the main so quickly didn't allow him to actually gauge like what the exact opener was for Protoss. I'm not sure if he saw range. He obviously didn't see a Nexus, but what I mean is, you know, if he had saw no range or, you know, a faster Nexus, then yeah, he could have gotten away with, you know, just showing the 3 Marines and not having a bunker. Anyways, it's a Rax in the main. Once again, it's near the ramp. This looks like it could be gasless, and in fact, it is gasless. And once again, it's going to be a cross scout from Protoss, and this time around, he will find him first. And in YSC's base, he's gone for an interesting build. As I say that, he put down the gas. So it looks like it's going to be, again, Zealots here. Slightly later gas. And Protoss or Terran is going to most likely find Protoss last, because I think he's going to do an end scout here. Well, I thought Protoss was going to queue up a Zealot, but so far he hasn't. Zealot. I thought that his gas was slightly later than usual, but maybe I was wrong. But, you know, I've always talked about how I thought that Protoss players would go Zealot, or did these cross-spawn scouts to gauge whether they should go Zealot or not. But now seeing that he is cross-spawn, of course, you know, it's longer rush distance. He ends up not going for that Zealot. And we do have YSC. I mean, this looks like it's an immediate Nexus. Yeah, an immediate Nexus. So 255 Nexus. I don't even know, did he even build a single Dragoon here? He definitely didn't get range. But now this is one of those games where KOP could try and like FD versus this. There's no range coming, unit count's low. It is cross spawn, but you could pull for it. But not queuing up any more Marines, so I guess he's just going to expand himself. He's going to have about like a 25-second later command center. I mean, it's not the biggest of deals, but it is, you know, about 2 workers lost compared to the Nexus. So right now, we're pretty much just waiting to see what the follow-up is going to be. And it looks like it's an immediate add-on. And the way that SCV went, this is going to be a starport. This is going to be a starport. And there it is at the corner of the base. So, Vulture drop. I've seen this before. You know, it's good versus what YSC is doing. Because from YSC's point of view, obviously he doesn't know this is coming. If it's mines, right? Terran will have mines set up, and you can't really attack into mines. But with this particular build, you can't rush mines. But of course, YSC doesn't know that, so I don't think he's going to be aggro with his Dragoons. So KOP should be able to get away with just vultures, no mines, at least not any mines for a while. He can just go straight dropship. Can he get into the bunker? He does, just barely. Wow, that was close. Okay, actually, he did already get mines, or does already have mines coming. So I guess he can afford both of them. Robotics, pretty much done. I mean, this is as greedy as it gets. It was a late goon, it was an immediate nexus, and this was also a 350 robo, which is pretty crazy. And you can see that the goons are backing off now because of exactly like I said. I mean, there could be a hidden factory. He doesn't know if there's mines set up behind him. Like, yes, he saw only one vulture in the main, and you assume that's the first one, but for all he knows, there could be another SCV out here with a hidden, factory somewhere. I like the mine placement. It's going to intercept a lot of movement from the Dragoons, and now we're going to be setting up a couple of mines to delay expansions, and we already have the dropship on the way. Now the question to me is, what angle does the dropship come from? Right now, there's no defense at the natural, but it's not often that I see vultures go for drops in the natural from that angle. So we'll see. There's a probe being sent out right now. For now, it's not going to intercept anything. But Terran's going to see that the probe is here, and he's going to immediately go over here and kill it. And I think that was 2 vultures loaded up. Oh, maybe that's the second one right there, or the third. Okay, now that he's drawn the Dragoons out of position, he needs to hook over towards the left side. Okay, or he can go down towards the bottom. Still, he knows that Dragoons are out of position. It's time to drop, man. Taking his good old time to get across the map. I'm worried that by the time the drop happens that the observer might actually spot it, but looks like the observer is not going to be in time, and there are no Dragoons down here. Absolutely none. How many does he want to unload? Just one? In the main? Oh, did he really? Okay, he dropped 2 in the main. I was about to say, did he really only drop 1 in the main also? I mean, I feel like that would be a massive mistake. Okay, gets 5, 6, 7. All right, something like 6 or 7 probes. That's great. That was really sick damage. And YSC is in a little bit of trouble here. Like, yes, he knows that Terran went for a starport, so his factory count's going to be low. But with damage like that, Terran could easily start flooding factories. Like, Terran's worker count at 42. He could easily go into a 5-fac timing. I think, in fact, if this was someone like Terror, 100% of the time, this would be a 5-fac timing. And the goons, okay, luckily this is walled off here. I was going to say, the goons are out of position again. He could run by this vulture, but not able to. Now, one thing to worry about from KOP's point of view is when you do build this amount of vultures, you do have to be worried about a potential counterattack. And he knows there's only 1 Marine in the bunker. So, like, this bunker is not scary. He's just going to jump on it. These 2 tanks, they can't come down because there's no support here. He gets 1 up. Okay, there's the siege. But he can probably kill this, can't he? He sees it's only 2 tanks. Wow, look at that. Just barely out of range. Actually surprised they didn't jump on those tanks when it was only 2 in siege. I don't think you can go now. Goons are so heavily damaged and he loses 2 of them. I still think it was worth, but I think he could have killed both of the tanks. Not for free, of course, but could have definitely killed them. Either way, that's bought him a lot of time. You can see he's now recovered his worker count 45 to 42. He's got his 3rd Nexus up. Terran, in the meantime, has gotten their armory done, has +1 coming. Still only 3 factories. Okay, there we go. There's the 4th and 5th factory. And he's got another dropship coming. I see a second add-on coming. And this is kind of just a side effect for going for vultures and drops in the beginning. You always end up having a lot of excess gas. So no shocker to me to see the second add-on. In fact, we may see something like 3 add-ons. Maybe even 4 or 5 add-ons, depending on what type of style he wants to go for. If he's just going to go like, 1-1 with mass factory flood on 3 bases. Ooh, that's a big connection. And I think that was a Reaver that was loaded up. So, nice timing there to spot the shuttle on the move. But did he actually see it, I guess, is the question. I like the pylon wall at the third base. Vultures shouldn't be able to get in there and do any damage. And this spider mine, I'm not sure if it actually got vision of the drop, but I didn't see a turret in the main. I don't see any movement in the main. I'm thinking that this one went unspotted. There's no anti-air here, right? Okay, well, of course, as I say that, he runs over a turret. Oh, there's a Wraith! He's gonna lose it! There was no goon in here? For real? That seems like such a massive mistake. And look at this, there's a drop on the left side coming, by the way. So, failed drop. KOP has already had a successful drop, and now he's gonna probably have a successful drop here because I think that, well, wait, he went into the main. A tank. Those pros, man. Yeah, that was a decent shot right there, but I thought he was going to get more damage onto the probe line. But his supply is still fine. It's 95 to 102. And he does have his 5 factories completed. Still, I think the tank count is quite low. I don't know if he can push with this tank count. What is... Okay, never mind, he can. He's got 7 tanks. I thought he only had 5. But he has lost a lot of vultures. And he's lost, those 2 dropships. So, like, his timing is kind of slow-ish. We can see that supplies are relatively close, but I'm worried that this... Wow, that is so many Dragoons. I'm worried that this is just slightly too slow. And the siege is late. Uh-oh. Goodbye, Wraith. Oh, he gets rid of one of the tanks. Well, actually, that was a lot of Dragoons losses. I thought there were more Dragoons than that. I thought he might commit, but ends up backing off. And in YSC's base, I see, the flood of buildings coming up. So Gateway should be completing or on the way. I think he's probably at like 8 now. He really needs to have like 7 or 8 to fend off this 5 fact. Once he can get to that, as long as he has Speed Shuttle or Speed Zealots, he should be good. Very far forward. Ooh, love it. Hooking around to try and cut off reinforcements. That's fantastic. Exactly what you should be doing. And the observer spots that there's no command center. So he knows that KOP is... Well, we can't say KOP is all in because he's got a massive worker count, but he knows that this is a committed attack is what I'm getting at. And he's floating the barracks and the eBay along with the army, but it's way out of sync. These are just going to die for free. And he even gets off a decent amount of damage onto a couple of vultures and a tank. Wow, pushing so fast. Zealot. Oh my gosh, how did that mine connection not hit? Okay, gets rid of those. Wow. Whoa, look how many tanks died. Zealots at the bottom side of the army. Kill off those. The entire tank line got eviscerated, and look how fast supply goes from basically even to down 50. And behind this, an immediate expansion, by the way, at bottom middle. So an immediate 4th base. Terran lost everything. Then they actually be a GG scam. I mean, it's his last game of the tournament, potentially. So I wouldn't expect him to GG, but he is at a massive deficit now. He was even on 6 factories, and it still wasn't enough. Now he has to rebuild his barracks and his eBay. He doesn't have a science facility, so he doesn't have +2 coming. And YSC is doing the punishing style, which is now he's going to go into double robo Templar. You guys have by now watched the ASL game of Rush versus Rain, where Rain just dropped Rush over and over and over. Anytime he moved out, just crippled the econ. And this is how you do it. The only expansion that Toolbow can take here is top middle. If he expands down to bottom right, I mean, that's where Protoss is expanding. I don't see how you are going to be able to defend that. So he's got to take top middle, and Robo is just going to immediately shut that down. So this is the perfect play from Toolbow. I mean, I personally don't even think we're going to get to that point. I think YSC is going to max, and he's going to move, because he killed so many tanks. You know that this guy can't have that many left over. Look at this, he has double Wraith also. So he spent so much gas on drops and Wraiths. His tank count is tiny. He does have a lot of gas. I mean, I guess I forgot about that. Like, look at his gas. It's 1,200 gas. He needs like quadruple add-on, man. You gotta get tank. You gotta recover your tank count. Like, yes, he needs to do some vulture harassment, but you know, harassing with like 15 vultures versus like 12, or like harassing with 12 versus 8, like, is that a big difference? Probably not. But having, you know, 20 tanks versus 12, well, yeah, that is a massive difference. There's the triple shuttle. I mean, he may just go for it. I mean, he's got a huge advantage. He's seen no Goliaths. There's only 2 Wraiths. Like, the Wraiths are not going to shut down triple shuttle. He knows that it's not upgrade Terran. The only thing he's, I guess, worried about is, okay, maybe he has so many add-ons that there's just a billion tanks that I missed. I find that to be just so unlikely. Okay, so we've got Protoss maxed. I mean, this is the time to go, man. Even if they have a million mines, you have triple shuttle. Oh, here we go. Yeah, he's sending it. He knows. Okay, there goes half of the mines. There goes some more mines. Oh my gosh, basically the entire minefield is gone. Okay, that was a... Well, I still think he could go. But he doesn't know that it's 170 versus 116, so he may wait for another round of reinforcements. He's also just going to play it safe and have a backup base in case this somehow failed. I also noticed that Protoss does have +1 upgrades already, so he could have +2 pretty soon, which would be very good versus the Terran's +1/+1. Go shuttle bomb number 2. Clears out a lot of mines again. Okay, it's getting to the point where I don't know if this is going to work anymore. Supplies are, you know, a little bit close from 150 to 110. Tank count is really high. Like, oh, did he try and drop there at the same time? I'm not sure if like a failed drop happened over there, but Terran's trading effectively for now. But you know, the problem is, once again, like I said, going to be mined out pretty soon. Main's very low, as you can see. He can only expand to top middle. He can never expand to bottom right. That's just never going to happen. And it's just going to take you so long to get there that I feel like Terran's just going to eventually starve out. Does he have +2? No, if he has +2, it could be a difference maker, but it's still just +1. Okay, okay, he's what, like 45 seconds away, something like that? So he's pretty close. Slowly creeping his way into position. I mean, it would be great if he can get rid of the observer. Like, the vision is kind of what allows Protoss to strike, right? Like, he knows when Terran's on siege. He knows when the vultures are, you know, not in the greatest position. He knows when Terran's going to come in and, like, try an EMP. But if you can get rid of the observer, maybe you can catch, like, a few units, you know, sleeping. You know, like for example, kill these 2 Reavers with a couple tanks as they move forward into siege mode. Okay. He's going to get that shuttle. Okay, this is exactly what I was talking about. Almost gets one of the Reavers. He killed the shuttle, though, which is the key thing. But, you know, Terran's at 160 supply now. Like, this is a completely different ball game from, you know, max versus 130. Terran also has 2-2. So Terran might actually secure this base. Immediately +3. Really? Tag into this? Shuttle, 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 storm, 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 storm. Well, that's fantastic. Oh my gosh, how many kills was that? Oh, he may even kill the SCVs being transferred. He gets some more. Oh my god. I thought that was not going to work because it was complete wall off, but he gets so much damage done. And it's like endless storms. How many storms does he have? Look, there's more SCVs dying there. He's down to 27 workers. What the heck? In the blink of an eye, it just all falls apart. And then it looked like what he said, you played well, do well in the tournament, something along those lines. So congrats to YSC there. And KOP, unfortunately, is going to be eliminated, but that does get us through 2 more Protoss players. And we're now down to just our last remaining group, which is Group H. Can't remember all the players, but I do remember that Backho is in there. So I'm looking very forward to see how he plays. Let's take a look at the match result today. Of course, we saw Mini take down KOP, YSC take down ggaemo, Mini get out in first, KOP beat ggaemo, and then YSC kind of just had KOP's number today. I like KOP's build in Game 2, not so much in Game 1, but YSC had great defense, really good attack against the first push. And like I said, that leaves us with 1 more group remaining, Royal, Backho, Ample, and Noob. Obviously, Royal's the clear favorite. I think it's probably a toss-up between Ample and Noob because I know Noob has been playing a decent amount of time, and it seems like Ample's always playing. But maybe Backho can make some type of upset. You know, if he gets into this tournament, he must be very good, right? So I guess there's a chance where he could do it. But we are done today. Thank you guys so much for watching. And if you enjoy the content brought to you by StarCastTV, definitely consider becoming a Patreon supporter. Or at the minimum, slam that like button, slam that subscribe button on YouTube. It really does help us out a lot. And with that said, I look forward to seeing you next week.